Big Brother Rewind is sponsored by Hover.com. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. FreshBooks. FreshBooks is an easy-to-use online invoicing service that saves you time, gets you paid faster, and makes you look professional. Get started completely for free at freshbooks.com. And by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook by going to audiblepodcast.com/GFQ.
Tonight on the GFQ Big Brother Rewind, the veterans continue to control the house, with Jordan winning HOH. Dominic wins the POV, forcing a wrench into Jordan's plans. Cracks begin to form in the Veterans Alliance, and Rachel starts losing her mind. All this and more on this week's Big Brother Rewind.
Holy cow. Another week of Big Brother. I'm Major Zarian, joined by Jessica Zarian.
Hi.
How you doing, Jess?
Good.
Good. This is
good.
Big Brother Rewind, where we recap everything that is happening in the Big Brother house, the hit CBS show.
Yes.
And we have a lot of news. Before we begin, today's news is brought to you by... Who's it by, Jess? Joking.
Why are you
I don't know.
like
Because
that?
I'm talking about the news. I was going to hit the news thing, but I changed my mind. I got a lot of the news this week from Online Big Brother and Big Brother Networks. Two of my favorite blogs, actually, for Big Brother news. So I've been getting them. Big Brother Network actually has a really, really interesting article every week by Matt, former Big Brother 12 house guest. So check out their site to get the scoop there. So let's begin.
Yes.
We left off last week. It was they were doing evictions.
Yes.
And as we said would happen, Keith would go home.
And thank God.
But
Yes.
I did not expect him to get so many votes.
You thought it would be tied?
No, I thought at one point I thought it would be a sweep. I thought Portia was going to get all the votes, to stay. Right. But he got a couple votes.
Yeah, he definitely did. Well, the newbies were supposed to vote to keep him in the house, and then two of them flipped on them.
Yeah.
And that was Shelly and Kalia.
Yeah, Shelly and Kalia flipped.
Yeah.
But this is the funny thing. Everybody thought it was Adam that flipped in the house after the votes. If you watch the feed, and I believe on the After Darks feed, and the live feed, which you could purchase from a million places.
Right.
They were panicking at this point because first they said, "Oh my God, who sent him home? Who sent him home?"
Right.
They started scrambling. Then they had the HOH competition. Jordan wins HOH.
Yes.
Surprise to me because last week, I take everything back. Last week I was screaming that she will not win HOH and she's a waste.
I think that she's underestimated.
She is, and I do like her, but I didn't expect her to win. But it was an easy one. It was golfing, and she won last year with the golf. And Jordan did let her win.
No,
I'm sorry, Jeff did let Jordan win.
Yes.
Last year and again this year, so that was interesting to see that. Dom thought he was going to win.
Yeah. Well, he did. Well, he was the first one to go. And so he got, I think, 6. He had hit 6. It was a miniature golf.
And by the way,
game.
Rachel picked the lineup.
Right. Which was smart because she had all the newbies go first so that the veterans would have to know exactly how many points they needed to get to win. So, and as you watch the show, you realize that they had time to practice. Yeah. It says that, we were practicing all night. Kalia chose not to practice at all. But they didn't know where the points would be set up or what different. The game would be. Yeah. They just knew that it was golf. They got to practice, but they didn't know where they were voting to get to.
Yeah.
So
whatever it was, also Brendan also forfeited pretty much too.
Yeah.
They thought Adam threw it in. The newbies thought Adam threw
the competition,
which I don't think he did. I just thought it was a bad putt.
I think just...
So Jordan wins HOH. Newbies start freaking out. I don't blame them. Dom is freaking out because he thinks he's going to go home.
Right.
Which he was kind of right. They put him up for eviction. They put him on the block. Him and Adam. Now, there's a big issue all week between Adam and Dom. And if you watch the live feeds, it was quite noticeable that Dom talks a lot of crap. And he doesn't really back it up. He just talks a lot of crap, and he thinks this one is backdooring and that one is backdooring. But he's not a big fan of Big Brother.
Looking to make moves.
To me, it seems like he knows the word backdoor, and he knows certain things about it. Like, he didn't know Dick and Danielle were relatives.
Right.
He thought they were together.
Right.
In a relationship. So it shows how far back he goes in Big Brother. And if he didn't know, Danielle and Dick, he doesn't really know the game. But I think he's a smart dude, and he knows how to manipulate people.
Right. Whereas Adam is a super fan.
Super fan. Huge fan.
Totally unlikely duo.
And it's kind of been bad for him in this game because he's such a super fan that the newbies feel that he's up the ass of the veterans, which I haven't really seen anything more than the next one. You know what I mean? It's the game. They're all playing the game.
Right. And after the vote, they believe that Adam is the one that made that vote. And Kalia is sitting there like so upset, and she says, "Oh, it's definitely somebody in this room, and that's what makes me so upset." And meanwhile, it was her. And she goes into the diary room and she says it. She says, little do they know, and they'll never find out that I was the one that voted to evict Keith.
Well, and Shelly too. And Shelly's the funniest one because nobody suspected her.
And it's so funny because it's everything. You see the clips. It's everything. Oh, I know I can trust Shelly. I know I can trust Shelly.
Yeah.
I know it.
But Shelly, in my opinion, right now, if each week we pick a strong player and we say who's the strongest player in the game, I think she's the strongest player right now. Shelly. She's manipulated both sides.
She has.
She's manipulated both sides to the point where Cassi is not politicking against her.
Right.
Which we're going to get to now. Which we'll get to now. So Dom and then we'll weigh in our opinions because a lot happened. Dom and Adam are on the block. Right. POV competition, Jess. Go ahead.
Okay, so this POV is basically a balance beam. And on one side of the balance beam is a giant container of gumballs. And on the other side of the balance beam is a outline of the veto. And what they have to do is walk across the balance beam and not fall, chewing a piece of bubble gum. Yeah. And then they take the chewed piece of bubble gum and they stick it to the wall, and they have to create the shape of the veto.
By the way, before you go to that, Rachel's having a mental breakdown from the second a new HOH was crowned, which we're going to touch on that.
Yeah,
which
you
we'll
definitely
go back to that. See
moments of old Rachel flashing, and then at the end of the veto is when it all comes crashing down around her.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So they chew. Jordan's hysterical because she's in the diary room saying, like, I'm so excited because I know that I can walk and chew gum at the same time. And then at the end, there's a clip of her, which I wanted to get for the show, but we can't seem to find it anywhere. And it's her saying, if I had any more balls in my mouth, I'd be a gerbil, which is the most ridiculous quote ever. But you gotta love Jordan. So at some point, Jordan's really behind, and really it's between the guys. It's Jeff, it's Brendan, and it's Dom.
Yeah.
Adam has already gone to Jordan and said that I'm going to throw the competition.
I'm going to throw the competition. Yeah.
I'm on your side. This is also under Shelly's kind of workings from behind, because Shelly goes to Adam and says, you really should be making a deal with the veterans and saving yourself. And so I think he took some of what she had to say, and I think that he's kind of always been floating between the two of them, and he wasn't quite sure where he was going to stick. He also feels that Dom is not to be trusted. So he goes to Jordan, and he kind of works out this deal that he's not going to ever put them up. Yeah. And now he's working with the veterans. So he decides he's going to throw the competition. So he's walking real slow. Now,
I'll tell you why. He's protecting himself because the next 4 weeks, I'm sure he had a feeling that Dom would go.
Right.
So either way, he's fine because he's not going to do anything for the next, X amount of weeks.
Exactly. So, and the other thing is, with this game, is they can't fall off the balance beam. If they fall off, they have one more chance. They can get back on, but they have to go on slot for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So Jordan falls off, and she goes to grab the slot pass, and she goes to stick it in the gumball container, and Jeff screams, Jordan, don't do it. I'm going to be really angry. And Jordan says, no, I'll take slop. And Jeff says, no, don't do it. I will be really angry with you.
Now, do you know why that happened?
Yes, because she was so far behind. She had no chance of winning this veto at all. So Jeff knew that if she took the 2-week pass,
they were going to get slapped.
Right, exactly. And so, and he says it best in the HOH room later that night.
Oh, yeah, when all hell broke loose.
When all hell breaks loose. But he says, you know, why did you want to take that pass? And she said, well, I thought that, you know, even Rachel thought that that's what a competitor does. And he goes, no, that's what an idiot does. You had no chance of winning this game. All you were going to do was put yourself on slot for 2 weeks, and there was no point in that.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant on his part because there's no way she was going to win.
So even before we got to that point, Rachel started losing her mind. That night, she started fighting with Cassi because Portia's her friend, and she was acting so strict. That's my friend. That's my friend. You hated her last week. You wanted her gone.
I know.
So it shows something about her character, and I honestly, I think everybody that watches the show has figured out she does not like attractive women.
Yeah.
If you are more attractive than she is going to go after you.
Right.
She is I don't understand the whole thing with Cassi. She doesn't like Cassi, and they had this whole blowout.
Well, Jordan says that at one point.
Because Jeff and Jordan have realized that she's a loose cannon.
Right.
So she's losing her mind the whole time, and you can see her face is starting to break out again as soon as she's off HOH. And you know, she's gone crazy. Cassi, in my opinion, has done nothing to her, but Cassie's a target.
Right.
So immediately Rachel wants Cassi up on the block. She wants Cassi and Shelly on the block.
Right.
Jeff and Jordan go against them.
Yeah, she gets very angry with Jordan for going against what they want. But in the end,
she got her way.
She gets her way. Yeah. There was even talks at one point of backdooring Rachel.
Yeah, because Jeff and Jordan have realized that she's a liability for them. And that's why they've politicked and they've started their own little alliances on the side.
Right.
While Brendan and Rachel are trying to do the same thing. But they're imploding while they're doing it. So it's almost like, oh, you're going to align with me? Oh, F you if you don't.
Right.
You know, it's a very aggressive tactic. Not so much Brendan, because Brendan is liked in that house. It's Rachel that's disliked. So now it's Adam and Dom, and they're off, and it's Cassi and Shelly, and everybody knows Cassi's going to go home tonight. It's very obvious. Unless they could sway some votes.
Some Hail Mary.
And I think if it's down to Jordan to pick one, if let's say it's even, and I doubt it will be, I think she'll keep Cassi. I don't know why. I just have that feeling.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I have this feeling because they spoke a couple times. I think she might switch sides and keep her. You know.
Okay.
I think they're so fed up with Rachel and Brendan. I think they're fed up with them, and they're realizing that it's going to hurt them in the game. Now, this week, HOH this week will be interesting.
Oh, very interesting.
Because Rachel's competing again.
Right.
So you have Rachel, which is a very strong competitor, Brendan, and Jeff. Mm-hmm. That's a very strong competition. Mm-hmm. And from what I have read, it is not a endurance. It's a like a trivia, like a memory thing.
Right.
So they're counting everything.
We haven't come up to that yet. So
go ahead.
No, I'm saying we haven't seen that yet. So it has to be a mental game because we haven't seen that. One of those things yet.
So they're starting to do it, and people are bringing up Rachel crying in the bushes.
Rachel's bush. Rachel's bush. It was the best.
The best thing ever.
The funniest. The most amazing moment.
She's nuts, right? I mean, we have to come to that.
She's crazy. And I love Luan. It was funny.
I liked her for like a week.
Yeah.
I liked her. She was normal. She was better.
She had her crazy for a little while. I think she knew. And Brendan's always trying to like talk her off of that crazy ledge that she lives on. Yeah. But it's funny because there's one point where Rachel went and like hid in a bush. So Rachel's like crotch down, sitting like a 3-year-old, like under a bush. Brendan is now squatting next to the bush and talking to Rachel. Luan, who has done nothing this entire week, like
nothing. He's had his face mask. He's doing his hair.
Yeah, he could have been. He could have been in the Bahamas all week, and the show wouldn't have changed at all. We had no idea. There's nothing that Luan says the entire week. The only thing that he does is he says that he can't find Rachel and he's pretty sure that Brendan has gotten crazy.
Yeah.
Because Brendan's talking to a bush in the backyard.
That's brilliant.
Which is like the only thing that he's contributed the whole day. There's also a very awkward moment before the veto where Rachel and Cassi are in the kitchen. Rachel's dressed like a burglar.
Brilliant.
And she's...
By the way, I have the images that you requested, so tell me to pull them up when you're ready.
Okay, after this. So Rachel's dressed like a burglar, and she's in the kitchen, and Cassie's in the kitchen, and they say nothing to each other. But then Cassi goes back to the diary room and says, well, I really showed her that she messed with the wrong girl. We're not sure how, because the only thing Cassi has done is eat a snack in front of Rachel. So apparently her idea of showing her was
they had another blowout. They had a final blowout.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that was in regards to that.
Maybe, but it was funniness.
I don't know. You know, it's interesting, and I think it's going to get really, really fascinating when Jeff and Jordan totally, go against them.
Yeah.
Danny, by the way, has the best chance of winning this year.
I 100% believe she will win.
I said it from day one, right? Who were my picks?
I don't remember.
Do you remember?
I should have written them down.
Danny, Brendan, Jeff.
I think it's going to be...
And Dom.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Danielle and Dominic. I think they're going to pair up, and that's going to be definitely...
Well, Danny and Dom are gonna.
I think it's going to be Dominic, Danielle, Jeff, and Shelly.
Yeah, by the way, it is a Q&A setup because they've set up the backyard. So I'm looking at the image right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a silhouette, and they have set up a Q&A. Jeff is not the best one at this.
No, Jeff's awful at this.
So
and Jordan is good at it, but she's not playing. I could see Shelly winning.
Shelly could win.
Danielle, I could see Danielle winning.
Danny's not competing.
Oh right, she's not competing.
she's not competing this week. I'm looking here. I don't know. You might be surprised. Luan could win. It's just questions. So anybody could win.
Luan's not gonna win.
Adam could win.
Luan, whatever his name. Luan has done nothing.
No, but he's
done nothing but dress like
things,
Two-Face from Batman during the
that was great.
During the eviction ceremony. That's it. That's all he's done.
But these are easy things. You know what I mean? Like Dom could win, Adam could win. Well, if these are big brother questions, Dom might not win because he has no clue.
Could see Adam winning.
Adam could win. Mm-hmm. And Adam and Dom have discussed already if they win, which they have a very solid chance. They're gonna send Kalia home. Kalia and Luan are gonna go on the block.
Why? Because they hate floaters too?
Because they've done nothing. They're useless. And Kalia is the most annoying person in that house. I like Luan. You got to keep Luan.
Yeah, Luan's interesting. Kalia, again, she's
why? Because he's harmless. Luan is harmless.
So is Kalia.
Yeah, no, Kalia could turn on you any second.
And do what? Nothing.
Nothing. Well, I think she can.
Oh, my goodness. We did not discuss what happened to Kalia. Kalia had to have the Big Brother medics come. During the have and have not competition, there is an image of that. So maybe you want to show that.
Okay, I have it right here.
So the have and have not competition, first show the game board.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's them.
Is that the image you wanted?
No. But that's Kalia and Luan. And during the...
Is this the other image you wanted?
Yes. Okay, so this is the game board for the have and have not competition. What they basically had to do was partners partnered up and got into ant costumes, and one was behind the other one. They had to climb through a can of baked beans, slide across the board, step over a sandwich, grab a piece of food, then go back, and all while things are being thrown at them, ketchup and mustard and whatever, and then they had to drop it into like a little container. Now the winner would pick two halves and two teams to be the have-nots. Now Rachel wins again, but
she's a great. I mean, say what you want about her, but she's
an amazing competitor.
Unbelievable competitor.
She's an amazing competitor, and of course she puts Cassi on slop.
Yeah.
Now, Luan and Kalia are going through. They're losing completely.
This is the greatest picture. It looks like she's a murder victim.
She does. And so that's them in the baked bean can. And now the competition is over, but that's them. They are stuck. Kalia believes.
1 second, Jess. Suncast, if you're listening, please tell me where the images are from so I could give them credit for this. Go ahead, Jess.
Kalia believes that she's now injured, and they come over. Other castmates are trying to help her. She's like screaming and crying and like in agony, and she's like, my shoulder. They bring out the Big Brother medics.
She's like dying.
Yeah. Big Brother medics cut her out of the ant suit, and in the end, she's fine.
Why do you think she did that?
And then Shelly's like, oh my God, with the complaining and the annoying, like, complain to somebody, not me. She says, like, complain to your mama, not this mama, or some craziness like that. But it was awful. It was absolutely awful. And it just proves, like, this was a pretty simple have and have not.
She can't do it.
She couldn't do it.
I wonder why they
unless she comes out of left field with an amazing memory and is able to win tonight, she's completely useless. So we'll see.
Listen, that's the thing. Something, floaters, but sometimes the floaters make it far.
Of course they do, because they're not threats.
No.
They're not threats.
So you don't throw them out, and all of a sudden they're at the final four. You know what I mean? Like, it could be just like Big Brother 11.
Right.
A floater won Big Brother 11. Jordan was a floater.
No, she won when it counted.
Oh, come on.
She did. She won when it counted.
Yeah, but she rode on Jeff's coattails the entire time. How about Kevin? Do we forget about Kevin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess.
He did nothing. And he made it so far. I mean,
I agree.
It was, and Natalie, that was another floater. She was a waste, in my opinion.
Right.
That they all, it was ridiculous, but they have, that's the strategy. Sometimes floating is a strategy. So, if Dom and Adam win, if Adam or Dom win, they're gonna send Kalia or Lawan home. They're gonna, and the odds of them winning in HOH, a veto is rare. But you really, Shelly can't go home, right? Portia can't go home. Danielle can't go home. So you left to Brendan, Kalia, Jordan, Cass. Well, Cassie's gone, so let's get rid of her. Keith, Dick.
Yeah, there's also.
So you're down to Brendan, Rachel, Kalia, Lawan, Jeff, and Jordan. Jeff and Jordan are not going to go.
I'm really interested to see when this alliance between the veterans is going to break up, because Jordan and Jeff are strong, but Jeff cannot stand Rachel anymore.
Yeah. And well, Jeff is not. Jeff is not so composed. Jeff is not a composed guy in that house, and we saw it in Big Brother 11. There were a few blow-ups here and there with Russell.
Right.
That huge fight, and Jordan bumped him,
Yeah.
But Jeff was not all that, he gets angry, and we've seen it quite a few times in this house. We've seen him flip out quite a few times so far. So he does have a big mouth, and he can pretty much do something
he's
to
getting
change.
on his last nerve. Like, Rachel he went in the diary room
and he confronted her after the POV.
He compared Rachel to a gnat.
Yeah.
And that he needed Rachel off. And that she's just annoying in his ear, and he wants to get rid of her. Now, after the competition, Rachel, during the have and have not competition, and Jeff tells Jordan, don't take the 2 weeks. We're not taking the 2 weeks. Just sit out. Rachel falls off the beam. Rachel takes the 2 weeks thing, puts it in, falls right off the beam again.
Yeah.
So she's on 2 weeks of slop for no reason. She didn't have to be. She also won the have and have not competition. Now she's back on slop. Now, during the competition, she screams out,
Brandon, that's my man, Brandon.
Well, she does that too. But
and that annoyed the crap out of
Yes, but out of Jeff. But before she does that, Rachel says, why am I even playing if our HOH isn't even playing? Like, to...
Yeah.
To say that she's a better competitor. So Jeff confronts her at the end and says, why did you say that about Jordan? Relax, And that's when she went crying in a bush. She also states, this is why America hates me.
Hates her for what reason? What do you mean? That she
crazy.
Cries in a bush? Or she
went and cried in a bush, and then Brendan and her in the bedroom, and Brendan's like, you have to apologize, and Rachel's like, okay, I'm going to apologize. What are you going to say? And Rachel says, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. And then Brendan says, okay, well, you have to mean it. You can't just say that. You have to say, what you have to really mean what you say. So she turns around and she goes, I will say, I'm really sorry, Jordan. And then she climbs under the blankets. And she's like, this is why America hates me. And then Brendan's like, don't be ridiculous. I'm totally for you.
No, I see. This
the
is
whole
the
thing
thing.
Makes me throw up.
Yeah. So the newbies now, right? We've done a lot of talking about them. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the newbies, because who do you think, in your opinion, right now, Cassi goes home, right? So the newbies, Portia's left, Adam, Dom, and who am I missing? Luan and Kalia, right? Luan and Kalia are total waste.
Right.
Adam and Dom probably are the two strongest people right there.
And I could see Adam winning the HOH this week.
Yeah, I mean,
really
he can.
Because he obviously has the memory for it, because he was, at one point, on cam kind of discussing the show.
Yeah.
And I think he went back and he was giving all of this trivia. And you either have a mind for it or you don't.
Yeah.
It takes a very special competitor to be able to remember all of these like useless facts. And I think Adam might actually be able to do it.
As I pass you notes on this very professional show, I want to remind everybody, Big Brother Rewind is sponsored by Hover.com. Domain names made simple. If you're looking to get a domain name and you don't want to deal with those other guys and get bombarded with email blasts and flyers and all this stuff, this is the company for you. You go to the website, you buy the domain in under 30 seconds, and you're set. If you go to gfq.hover.com, you get 10% off your entire purchase. They make it as simple as it could possibly be. No upsell, none of that nonsense, just easy purchases. That's hover.com. That's gfq.hover.com. Get 10% off your entire purchase. So, Jess, right now,
yes.
Danny, in my opinion, still the front runner for me.
Yeah, I see Danny and Adam either winning tonight. Oh, no, Danny can't win.
Danny
so I think Adam. I don't know why I keep thinking Danny's going to win. You know why? Because Danny is such a strong competitor, and it's so weird to even think of Danny not competing in anything. Yeah. And especially since this is like a new thing in Big Brother.
And it was kind of like a waste for her, because she would have, if she didn't get that golden ticket, it wouldn't have, it kind of hurt the team rather than helping it. Like, it's almost like a help for the person who,
right?
If your team member goes home, like it helps you for the next couple of weeks. But it's kind of been a crutch for her because she can't compete in anything. She's just hanging out. Right.
Well, she also, we saw a little glimpse of just what she's capable of in that very first competition where she's hanging on the banana.
Yeah.
And you saw she was one of the last people up there, and never
she didn't.
To win.
She didn't want to give up. Dick was the one that said, let's cut a deal.
Sure she did. And because Dick knows that everybody who wins the first time, the first HOH competition, never wins the big prize at the end. Ever. You may make it to Final Four, but you're never going to win. And I think Dick knows that. And it's a curse, and maybe it's silly, but I'm pretty sure that he told her to drop because of that. But Danny was on that banana, and she was not going to drop. We saw a glimpse of the competitor that she can be in that one competition. Then Dick left. She got the golden key, and she hasn't played since. So it should be really interesting to see.
Oh, no. Hayden. That's right. Hayden won. He won the first one, and he won the entire thing.
Did he?
Yeah. And it was some stupid thing like a banana for that one, too. It was some stupid hanging off of a hot dog or banana, some ridiculous thing.
It's always hanging on something.
Hayden did, so he broke the curse.
Oh, all right.
The reason why is because then you make so many enemies.
Right.
That's why nobody wants it. But,
right.
Dick is a great player. How far do you think this Jeff Jordan, Brendan Rachel thing is going to last? I can't.
2 more weeks.
You think 2 more weeks?
2 more weeks until Danny is able to play again.
Yeah.
I think once Danny's able to play again, she's going to hook him with Dominic. They're going to be an alliance. I think then that's going to be the end of the veterans team. I think it's going to break apart.
You think it's going to break apart there? Well, I think it broke apart week 1 when Dick went home. Now we can start speculating. What would have happened if Dick did not go home? These are all
a totally different game.
It would have been a totally different game. But how different could it have been? They sent one person home. They send another person home. So two newbies are going home. So either way, it would have been the same type of game. I wonder how in control he would have been of Rachel. Because he is respected by them.
Right.
So I wonder if he would have been able to keep control of her. And I think week 1 had a lot to do with that. I think Rachel being so composed and so normal had a lot to do with Dick being in that house for 6 days.
Right.
And then it wore off at the end.
Right. There is also glimpses of Dominic joining the veterans team.
But I don't think Dominic will. I think Dominic will do whatever he can to survive.
Yes, I truly believe that, and he says that in the game. He says, you know, I don't necessarily want to be playing these games with the veterans, but I'm going to do it. Now, it's funny because nobody really wants to be playing these games with each other, but they're all playing games. And we saw in week 2 where Jordan says, I'm going to be playing whatever game they were playing around that table. They were playing some sort of game. And you know, Jordan says, like, I really couldn't care less to play any of these games, but I'm going to play anyway. And then now this week we saw Dominic dress in like a unitard and like a cape. Do
we have an image?
No.
No, okay.
But Dominic is dressed in a unitard and a cape, and they're doing like some sort of skit. Like the cast mates are all sitting there in the backyard watching him.
And so is Brendan. Brendan was also dressed
right,
up
and Brendan's also in like a red unitard with like yellow underwear. I guess it was from one of the competition where they were going up and down the veto wall. They had to spell out veto. I guess they got to keep those costumes, and they're like having the skit where like he says something about like the turtle on his shoulder is his best companion. And then he starts singing like this little song, and then they get up together and they dance in a circle. I mean, the whole thing is so crazy and weird. It makes you think like, what goes on in that house that makes you like...
They were also taking pictures today.
Oh, the like MySpace pictures where everyone's like...
They had cameras and they were taking pictures. Mm-hmm. And Brendan took a picture of Danielle getting out of the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what that was.
Well, I do think that that's a nice segue to go into the pictures that I found of the castmates. Just kind of, I guess they forget that they're on camera. Yeah. And all of the mirrors in this, it's not a studio, in the house are two-way mirrors, and there's cameras in all of them. So it takes these images of them when they're doing ridiculous things. So there's one picture of Cassi, and we noticed it because she did it for like 10 minutes where she's making this like...
By the way, here's the Brendan image.
Bubble face.
Here's the image Brendan in the house this week. That was him.
Yeah.
So that look suits him well.
It really does. He's wearing Lawan's face mask.
He's like the king of the cockroaches.
I think that's the ant head.
Yeah, the ant head.
The ant head with the Candyland vest. I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous.
So the pictures from this week, for people listening, you could watch the show.
And last Thursday's episode, we saw Cassi right after eviction go over to the mirror to go like fix her hair
after she was crying.
And she's like, she does this like face where she's like,
that's a look of disgust.
She's trying. I don't understand what makes people do that in the mirror, but it's the funniest picture. She does this for 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was on after Big Brother on Showtime.
Right.
Here's Shelly. Oh my God.
Shelly makes another ridiculous face. Yeah. Ooh.
And here's Jeff. Oh, that's great.
It just.
He looks like a Muppet.
Yeah, he does. He really does. I don't know. I just thought they were really funny images of them. The many faces of our Big Brother cast.
I don't know. I still stand by that. Shelly has played the strongest game this week. So in my opinion, and this is a segment we're going to be doing on the show. We're going to be picking the strongest player of the week. In my opinion, it's been Shelly all week. She's such a strong player that Cassie's not politicking against her to stay in the house.
I would agree with you. I think Shelly is definitely one of the
what does that say? It's a game.
And I also think that Danny's still playing a great game.
But let's count Danny out because Danny's not competing, can't go home. Yeah, she's playing a great game. She's playing a great social game because she's friends with everybody. And she's matured tremendously from Big Brother 8. But currently right now from the key players, it goes to Shelly. Worst player goes to Rachel. Rachel just exploded this week.
Yeah.
Jeff could be a liability in my opinion. Jeff could lose it at one point.
But I love Jeff.
I know. I like Jeff and Jordan. Everybody loves him, but he can't lose it. Dom is just such a child. He's not going to do anything, but he does politic a lot.
Kalia is just a useless lump.
Yeah, useless. Kalia is useless. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the worst because she hasn't really done anything to hurt her game or help her game. She's just been useless.
Right.
So you really can't decide. You can't say, okay, this is what's happening.
Right.
Jess, what happens tonight? Who do you think could possibly win? You say Adam, right?
I think Adam's
Adam.
gonna win.
Okay, so who goes on the block?
Take it. I think Adam's going to take it, and I think he'll probably take either Kalia or Luan down. I think that's going to be the...
Not Brennan and Rachel?
Not unless it's a backdoor.
I mean, they could totally... But here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So Kalia and Luan go up. POV competition. Let's say they win. Take themselves off. Who goes on the block?
Well, then that would be a backdoor situation.
Brennan and Rachel have to go on.
Right.
It's not,
it's a backdoor. That's the only way to get rid of... Rachel's a monster.
No, it's
and
not
there's
really,
only one way to get rid of Rachel, and that's seriously... Because I really do believe that the only way to get rid of Rachel is through a backdoor. I think that Rachel's a very strong competitor, and when it comes down to it, she's proven time and time again that she can win those competitions.
Yeah, I mean,
she's crazy as all hell.
See, this is where it gets scary, right? Because they can go home. She can go home next week. That's a scary thing. Everybody thinks, it's Kalia and Luan, and the odds of them winning POV are slim, but there was still a chance, and there's no other place you could go with this. There's nowhere else they could possibly go, right? If they pull themselves off, who the hell are you going to put on the block? That's a scary part, and that's fascinating. So we're going to see what happens with that. It is an interesting game. I mean, at first when I heard the teams the first week, I said, it's going to be a little boring, and then Dick went, and I think we were all devastated when really Dick went home, because that would have been amazing to see. It would
have been great television to see Jordan turn and throw Rachel up there and backdoor Rachel this soon into the game. It would have made for excellent television, and she would have gone down in like BB history, like definitely. But
then you have Brendan that's safe for next 4 weeks, and it's a whole thing.
Right.
Like strategically, it
doesn't make any sense. I don't think that, and that's why I don't believe that any of the veteran team will break apart until the end of the 4 weeks is up. I think that's the only way
that it'll break up. Well, I mean, unless something happens next week, I think they can break up if Rachel goes home next week, or what if Jeff and Jordan go up on the block? That could happen too. That could be an ultimate.
I don't think so, because I think that Adam
Dom. No, but Dom. Here's the thing: if Dom wins, Dom is looking to get rid of Jeff. I think he would get rid of Jeff. I think there's something in his mind because you got to remember they put them up last week.
Yeah, but Dominic. If Dom wins, Dom is in with Danny, and Danny's going to tell Dom, don't put Jeff and Jordan up.
Listen, Danny's a smart player. Danny's in for herself.
Yeah,
Danny doesn't care.
I think it would be better for, I don't know. I don't think that.
You don't think they would do that?
No, I think Danny wants to keep that alliance together with Dominic and Jeff and Jordan. I think that's the team we're going to see.
Does anybody like Rachel? Alternate. Portia likes her. But Portia's an idiot.
Portia's an idiot. And Portia also was saved by Rachel. So, of course.
But see, this is the thing that baffles me, because she hated her.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that whole thing the first week? She hated Portia. Hated Portia. And Portia's annoying. I think she's more annoying than Cassi. But now it's quite obvious why she wanted Cassi to go home.
Right.
Who did Rachel do that to last year? Do you remember? Rachel flipped on somebody like that last year.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even care. She's so annoying.
I mean,
was it Britt?
Yeah, I mean, they had problems. Brittany and her had problems, and then they were friends, and they had problems. But Brittany was hysterical.
Brittany was so
with the diary
funny.
room. But everybody hated Brittany. Viewers hated Brittany.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of her in general, but I loved that she was so good with the one-liners. She was hysterical. She made great diary room.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up today. It's going to be a shorter show. We have to prep for the Andrew Zarian show, which is a big show starting in about 20 minutes. Well, yeah, 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
So we're getting there. Go to our website, guysfromqueens.com. Also go to stream at gfqlive.tv. If you have any questions, email, submit it. We will read them on the air if you want to talk about Big Brother. We have a couple guests lined up for this season, still early in the season. If you think we're wrong, tell us we're wrong. If you think we're right, tell us we're right. You could also download the show on iTunes, the Zune, pretty much everywhere you could imagine. Thank you to Online Big Brother for posting, and Big Brother Networks for posting the shows each and every week on their website. I greatly appreciate it, and it's a big help. And a lot of you viewers send me emails, so great viewers. You guys have great fans. Jess, thank you for being here.
Like I had a choice.
You don't have a choice, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you all next week on
Good
Big
night.
Brother Rewind.